Well, it's the second trip for the Port Huron Prowlers to Big Boy Arena down in Fraser, Michigan. The first trip was successful, a 3-2 win in the season opener, and this time they'll look to take another from the Motor City Rockers. Good evening, everyone. I'm Will Wiggleman, not from the concourse as I was last time. I'm here in the press box at Big Boy Arena for another big showdown between the I-94 rivals. Prowlers coming into this one, splitting a 1-1 weekend with the Carolina Thunderbirds last week. Took 4 out of 6 points, but the Rockers also come in, taking 4 out of 6 points last weekend. They were in Watertown, and the Rockers bringing in some big reinforcements ahead of this matchup. We'll have all that and more on the rest of this pregame show coming up in just a minute. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, under 10 minutes until the puck drops here at 7:30. Both teams coming into this one sitting 1-2 on the top the Continental Division. Prowlers 3-1-1, 10 points all the way at the top. Motor City not far behind at 2-2-1. Prowlers and Rockers are the only two teams in the league to have played 5 games so far, and they have been pretty good. Prowlers with a +4 goal differential coming into this one. That ranks 4th in the FPHL. 3 teams have +9 goal differentials. That's the only one better than the Port Huron Prowlers coming into this one. Well, we teased it earlier. The Rockers have some new blood coming into the lineup, and among them is former NHLer Ian White from Steinbach, Manitoba. Played 8 NHL seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Calgary Flames, Detroit Red Wings, Carolina Hurricanes, and the San Jose Sharks. Played a few years here in Detroit. Fans may know him. 503 NHL games played, 179 points, and he's coming back. He played last year in the Federal Prospect Hockey League with the Columbus River Dragons. This will be his second season in the league, but last year was his first hockey season since 2015, coming back to pro hockey, and he is 38. He is amongst the starters for the Motor City Rockers. We'll get you the rest of them. He's paired with Vaughn Clouston playing in his 100th FPHL game. Up front, it's going to be Cade Lambden, along with a couple of other new faces to the Rockers lineup. Declan Conway, who's traded to Motor City on Wednesday from Carolina. That completed an earlier trade from the offseason for Josh Keplinger, someone the Prowlers saw a lot of in that meeting last week with the Carolina Thunderbirds. And joining them up front is Scott Koch, another new signing, signed on the 25th, on just a few days ago. He played in Macon last year in the SPHL, 30 points in 56 games for him last year. In goal, once again, for the Motor City Rockers, Trevor Babin. He's gotten the start in all 6 games. This is number 6 for the Rockers. He has gotten the start in all 6 games for Motor City this season. However, he's only been the goalie of record for 4 of the first 5. He was thrown out of the Rockers' last game in Watertown after a big line brawl in the first period. Travis Ridgen played the rest of that game, and he ended up being the goalie of record, picking up his first career FPHL victory. Trevor Babin back in net tonight. Although some fallout from that Watertown game last Saturday, Brad Reiter, the guy who scored the first goal in Rockers history, scored a couple against the Prowlers a couple of weeks ago. He is out tonight. He was suspended 1 game for his actions during that brawl. Again, a big brawl between the Rockers and the Watertown Wolves. Both teams just taking the ice here, and we'll take a look at the Prowlers lineup before they get announced here at Big Boy Arena. And a lot of changes to the lineup. Joe Devaney and Larry Vartiainen unavailable for tonight's game, but in their place, the Prowlers have Sam Gagnon and Danny Chartrand both dressing for this one. The starting lineup is going to be Tucker Scantleberry, Dakota Omer, and Dalton Jay up front. Scantleberry made his FPHL debut last weekend, finished with 2 goals and an assist in the series, and he gets top line duties. Alex Johnson and Gino Mini starters again for the Prowlers, and in goal, Danik Rodrigue along with Ian Wallace. Wallace, you may remember his name. He was in training camp with the Prowlers, has been away from the team for the past couple of weeks, but now he's back, and he will be backing up tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. So the starters being announced here at Big Boy Arena. As the Prowlers set up on the line, we'll take you down to ice level. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. So the guitar out for the national anthem once again here in Motor City. And we are just about set for puck drop. "20 minutes up on the clock between these two rivals. Prowlers trying to once again defeat the Motor City Rockers in Motor City, while the Rockers will look for their first home win in franchise history. This is the honorary puck drop done by a nice young man in a Luigi costume. It is officially Halloween here in Motor City, as fans wearing costumes around the arena. I've seen a few around. There's a Wonder Woman over there, Luigi. And I'll let you know more if I see any more. But meanwhile on the ice, the Prowlers are wearing their gold uniforms. The Rockers in their white uniforms, typically a road uniform, but wearing them at home tonight. As we get set for puck drop from Motor City, the fourth time these two teams have faced off. Prowlers have taken point in 2 of 3. They are 2-1 against the Rockers. Ulmer and Koch to draw, and the Prowlers win it. We're underway. Turned over at the line, but sent back up the ice. Here's Scantleberry. Backhanded out by Clouston. Koch trying to move up, 2-on-2 rush with Lambden. Koch takes a shot, knocked down, and rebound loose. Goes wide. So Rodriguez gets the first one on the mask, and he turns it aside. Battle for in the corner. Worked up the boards. Shot from the point deflected wide. Lambden thought about the wraparound. Instead goes to the corner. Johnson takes him in there. Now Scantleberry flips in Jay's direction. Dalton Jay just 4 goals away from 200 in his FPHL career. Long pass up towards Scantleberry. He'll wrap it in. Work back out to center. Here's Schumacher. D to Dustin Heading. There's one thing that's stayed consistent in Port Huron so far this season. It's been the defense pairs. And this Heading-Schumacher pair has been the top grouping, at least on the depth chart, although they've all played very similar minutes. Back out the other way. Makima out of his reach. Works back to the point. Long shot doesn't get all the way through. Gaudette on the rebound in the corner. Foley trying to take it away. Work back up the near side. Rotundi sends it back around. Gaudette tried to put it in front. And Rodriguez has to cover that puck in the crease. Just under 2 minutes into period number 1. Ross Bartlett coming back out onto the ice for the Motor City Rockers. You remember last time these two teams played, Bartlett got into a bit of a tussle with Frank Schumacher trying to get the game puck. It was the Rockers' first victory as a franchise. Schumacher didn't want to give it to him, and as a result, Ross Bartlett tossed Schumacher's stick up into the McMorran Place crowd. That shot blocked. Henning trying to get it out, and he does. Graham with Federley, 2-on-1 if they hurry. Graham backhand, sliding block there, made by Vaughn Clouston. Hansel couldn't keep it in strong. Comes over to Bartlett, all alone with Rodriguez. To the backhand, save by Rodriguez, and then Bartlett goes crashing into the goal. Takes it off its moorings, and once again, Danik Rodriguez taking some abuse here at Big Boy Arena. It happened in the season opener, and he took a big hit there from Ross Bartlett, but kept the puck out. Still scoreless, 17:42 to go in the first period. Faceoff moves out to center because it was Bartlett that took off the net. Faceoff one back. Here's Ian White flipping it in, wearing 77. former NHL defenseman. Koch behind the net. Tried to work back in White's direction. Scantlebury cut it off. Tucker Scantlebury dumps it in deep. Suffredini there. Pops out in front. Jay back on it for the Prowlers. Tried to put it on net. Babin makes his first save of the night. Back to the point. Parsons lofts it back into the zone. Battle in the corner. Comes back up towards the point. Ulmer trying to keep it in. Could only momentarily. And it goes back to Prowler ice. And icing is called against Motor City. Just a touch over 3 minutes into this one. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Rockers. And the Foley line coming out with Merritt and Chartrand. That's your second line tonight. Minnie and Johnson, the defense pairing. Koch and Foley draw. Koch wins it back. White taken in by Chartrand. He took the puck, goes in front. Foley couldn't get his shot on net. Good block by a defenseman for Motor City. Meanwhile, Conway trying to go to the net. He's wearing 44. That's not Brendan McKenzie. That's Declan Conway. Here is Conway in the slot. Pushed it just wide. And now Foley trying to work up the boards. Back in deep. Minnie gets to Merritt all the way across towards Chartrand. And now Foley enters the zone, hassled on the back check. Gaudette gloved it down, trying to turn up ice. He gives it off. Makima into the zone, takes the shot, but the play offsides. Both teams with some decent scoring opportunities early on. As the little draw outside of the Prowlers' end, here's Henning. Federley has to work his way back into his own zone. Schumacher off the boards towards Graham. He goes off the boards. Rotondi drops back to Colton. Makima stepped up on by Henning. Comes back towards Rotondi. Colton tries the other side this time. It gets as far as Prowler ice, but Henning takes the D-to-D pass from Schumacher. He'll turn back. Off of Graham's stick, poked deep into Motor City ice. Now comes back out. Little ping-pong hockey here as neither team can get control in their opponent's side of the ice. Colton comes over to Contrado fresh off the bench. He gives to Giuliano playing in his 300th FPHL game tonight. Now banged up the boards. They battle for it in front of the benches. Now Parsons over to Hainsel. Ulmer gives to Parsons, now to Hainsel. Moved up to Jay, one touch to Scantlebury, comes back to Dalton Jay. Tried to feed it to Scantlebury going to the net. Ulmer kept it in, turns it on net. And Babin sends that one to the corner. Comes back to the point. Parsons couldn't keep it in. Here come the Rockers. Koch with a shot. Steered into the netting by Rodrigue and out of play. With 14:46 to go in the first period. Early shots 3-2 favoring Motor City, and we'll take a timeout with 14:46 to go in the first period here at Big Boy Arena. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here in Fraser, no score. Just over 5 minutes into period number 1. Will Wiggleman here with you. The I-94 rivalry, Battle of I-94, whatever you want to call it, continues with the 4th game of the season between these two clubs. Here's Minnie through center, gets in, took the shot off a stick. Babin sends it to the corner. Minnie trying to keep it in. Instead it comes back out to center. Coach puts it in. Johnson off the glass all the way up. And they're going to say that touched the ceiling. So face-off looks like it might come back into Prowler ice. Johnson doesn't seem to agree with the call. And now the referee's having a discussion on where this face-off should be. And now they'll move it into Prowler territory. Face-off, one to the boards. Rimmed around towards Minnie. He falls, but gets it up to Scantlebury as he does. Jay trying to tip it past Suffredini. He does. Gets it in front to Ulmer. Saved by Babin. Stretching across. I don't know if Ulmer got all of that shot. Suffredini trying to dance through. Gets the pass up. Everett Thompson gets it deep. Gaudette cuts off Rodrigue's clearing attempt. Puck comes out in front. Rodrigue forced to make a save, and now Ulmer. Moved up towards Scantlebury. Lots of rockers back. Scantlebury trying to dance his way through. Suffredini put the hit on him. Tucker Scantlebury still working with it behind the net. Now he turns it over. Giuliano flips it back to center. Henning knocks it down. Henning up the boards. He'll get the red, get it deep, right in on Babin. Turns it to the near side corner. Now worked around all the way out to center. Schumacher controls. Puts it back to neutral ice. Bartlett gets around Foley. Ross Bartlett into the zone. Shot goes out of play. 6:56 into period number 1. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Rockers. As both teams getting set to draw to Rodrigue's left, Giuliano and Foley, the men in the circle. Bartlett tried for a quick shot off the draw. Skittered near Rodrigue. He had to poke it away from his crease. And now the Prowlers looking to come out. Henning over the line. Takes it himself. Tried to feed the front of the net. Instead it comes right back to him. Dustin Henning puts it deep. Work back out to center. Chartrand flips it high into the zone. The Prowlers will make forward changes. Graham line coming on for Port Huron. If you weren't here for the pregame show, that's Merritt and Federley flanking Matt Graham. Now Merritt will go off for a change. Federley takes the loose puck, walks in, toe drag to the middle, and Babin forced to make the biggest save of the game so far. Federley tried to work it in front in DeCumbus's direction. Instead, Cade Lambden coming out. Plenty of Prowlers back. Parsons opts for the hit as Lambden got it to the corner. Battle in the near side corner. Puck squirts to the far side. Contrado down the boards. Takes the shot. Hainsel knocked a rocker down in front. That was Lambden. And now Lambden and Hainsel going to hug it out to the side of the net. Linesman in there to break that one up. We'll see if anything more comes from this. And it looks like everyone going to stay on the ice except for the Rockers forwards. They'll take a line change. Graham and Makima draw. Makima gets it back to Clausen at the point. Gaudette behind the net. Works towards Contrado's direction. DeCumbus cut it off. Comes in, back off the glass, back to center. Vinny DeCumbus moves it up towards Graham, and now Federley into the zone. Makima controls the bouncing puck and puts it in deep. Everett Thompson on it, turning it towards the net. Puck loose on the side of the net. And Rodriguez slides from right to left to make the save and cover up with 11:08 to go in the first period. Face off to Rodriguez left. Another defensive zone draw for the Prowlers. Bartlett rips it off the draw. That doesn't get all the way through. And now behind the net, Minnie. Quickly up towards Scantlebury, off the boards. Ulmer moving on out. Takes a shoulder from Cardinal. Now moved up Giuliano with some space off of Rodriguez's glove. Bartlett tried to send it back towards the net, couldn't do it. And now comes to Jay. 3-on-2 rush for the Prowlers. Jay drops it off. Minnie walks in, shoots. He scores! Gino Minnie beats Babbitt on the rush. Prowlers on the board first. It's 1-0. First of the year for Gino Minnie to add to 2 assists he has so far. And the Prowlers off to a great start. Nice drop pass from Dalton Jay on the 3-on-2, and Minnie walked in, just beat Babin to the glove's side. Babin looked a bit deep in his net there. And either way, the Prowlers on the board first here in Fraser. Puck chopped into the Prowlers bench, and we'll have a whistle. So Gino Minnie from Dalton Jay and Dakota Ulmer, the opening goal for tonight's game. Here's Foley. Chartrand looking for more. Forced back behind the net. Foley in there as it's worked up the near side boards. Foley took it away. Over, shot comes in, blockered aside by Babin. Schumacher flips it to the opposite corner. That puck was on edge when Frank Schumacher took the shot. Schumacher and Conway 50-50 puck. Schumacher kept it in just momentarily. Suffredini able to come out. A couple of Prowlers collide, Schumacher and Henning. Schumacher was heading to the bench as his helmet came off. He collided with Dustin Henning, who was watching the puck. Both seem to be all right. Meanwhile, whistles blow. I believe that's it for an icing. We'll take a timeout. 9:52 to go in period number 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here in Motor City, Prowlers with a 1-0 lead. The big man, Gino Minnie, has them up. He was a rocker for a hot minute during this offseason. Traded here from Elmira after the Mammoths selected him in the expansion draft from the Prowlers. Prowlers traded Stavros Soilis to Motor City to get Gino Mini back. Mini played 18 of his 20 FPHL games last season in Port Huron. The other 2 came in Danbury against the Port Huron Prowlers. Matt Graham seemed to like what he saw, so the Prowlers acquired him on waivers last year when they had the opportunity, and he's back here again this season. Federley into the zone, taken away by Gaudet. Works all the way back to the point, but Hainsel keeps it in. Shot on net, steered aside by Babin. Prowlers trying to hold it at the line. Instead, comes to Prowlers' blue line. Knocked down by Graham at center. Rolls back towards Rodrigue. Now Hainsel taking it in the corner. Graham finds it in his feet. All the way cross ice towards... Sorry, folks, we seem to lost the camera momentarily. We'll try and get that back for you in just a second. There we go. Little unplug it and plug it back in, if you will. What you missed was a Prowler's icing, which is why the face-off is to Danik Rodrigue's left. Zolkanic and Graham to draw. Zachary Zolkanic playing in his first game. Klauston sent it wide. Playing in his first game with Motor City. He's been on the roster for the whole season, well, most of the season. He was cut and then re-signed during the week as Rodrigue covers up that rolling puck. Little pushing and shoving coming after the play, as Vinny DeCumbus, one of the newer Prowlers, was taken in by a couple of Rockers in the corner. Federley having some words with the linesman. Both teams make changes ahead of this Prowlers defensive zone faceoff. The only Prowler staying out there is Dakota Ulmer. His line mates join him. Minnie and Johnson back out as the defense pair. And Ulmer will line up against Lambden. Koch directly behind him. They get it to him. Koch's shot doesn't get all the way through. And now Dalton Jay looks to start out. Jay gets past one man. Couldn't get past Klauston. Puck sent back to center. Near side Jay will turn up and try again. Lambden poked it off his stick. Now Jay reverses towards Johnson. He put it off a leg. Rodrigue steers it towards Minnie. And finally, the Prowlers able to get it out of their own end. Klauston all the way up. Conway couldn't settle it down. Now he has it. He gives it to Koch in. Koch trying to work towards Contrado. Minnie took it away. And Rodrigue has to steer that puck to the corner. Moved up towards Scantleberry. He fights off a hit. And now Scantleberry getting involved with Scott Koch in front of the Rockers bench. And Tucker Scantleberry looks like he's getting a high sticking penalty. He took a hit and his stick came up over in front of the Prowlers bench. So that's going to be the first penalty of the game. It goes against Tucker Scantleberry and the Port Huron Prowlers. Rockers power play comes into this one, tied for 7th in the FPHL at 14.3%, while the Prowlers penalty kill has been very good, 87%, 3rd in the FPHL. Henning, double team behind the net. Everett Thompson takes it from him. Comes back to the point. Colton gives over to Bartlett. Now Colton, the one-time blast. Kick save and a beauty from Rodrigue. Puck bouncing, and Foley able to get it down ice. 25 seconds gone on the Scantleberry penalty as the Rockers try and move back up. Taken away by Foley. He has a rush the other way. Has Merritt going to the net. Foley trying to take the shot himself. Kick save by Babin. And now Rockers trying to move back up. Gaudet sent it towards the net, and Bartlett get the stick on it to push it past Rodrigue. And we're tied here in Fraser. A power play goal for the Rockers. An innocent enough looking shot towards the net by Gaudette, but Bartlett got his stick on it just before Rodrigue was able to play it, and he just threw it past Danik Rodrigue to tie this score. Koch trying to push forward off the draw. He's got Koch working around Hainzel. From his back, he gets it on net, knocked away. Comes in, Conway tried the shot, blocked down, and here's DeCumbus. Trying to work out. He finds Graham, 2-on-2 rush, has Federley with him. Matt Graham steered away by Babin. Battle in the corner, Federley trying to feed DeCumbus in front. Instead flipped high, back out to center. Hainzel off the boards. In front of the Prowlers bench. As Federley off the boards into Rocker territory. Conway works it back to Suffredini. Now moves up to Gaudette. Gaudette toward Makima. Derek Makima tried to feed the slot. Colton was sneaking in from his defense point. Instead, Jay the other way. Dalton Jay takes it and missed it just wide. Off the boards and out. Minnie chases. 5:45 to go in the first period. Quick up to Scantleberry. Off the boards, Jay's into the zone. Knocked off his stick. Giuliano got it as far back as Johnson, but Bartlett pokes it away from him. Minnie on him, and Gino Minnie swept it away. But they're going to give Gino Minnie a tripping penalty as he took down Ross Bartlett. Prowlers back to the PK for the second time. It was a quick power play goal for the Rockers that got them back even in this game just a few minutes ago. They'll have another chance on the man advantage. Gino Minnie finding himself all over the score sheet in this first period. Goal and now a penalty. Foley and Koch getting set to draw. But first, we'll have to figure out the net here. Came off its moorings. Referee trying to make sure that it goes back on so that hopefully it doesn't come off all too much throughout this game. We saw that a number of times the last time the Prowlers were here. Those nets kept coming off, especially down on that end to our left. Looks like Lambden, White, Koch, Conway, and Suffredini, the power play unit for Motor City. Foley, Merritt, Schumacher, and Henning, the killers for the Prowlers. Koch, back to the point, gets it back. Down low towards Conway. White back to Conway. Puts it on net, deflected. Rodrigue made the save. Back up Conway, and it's turned over by White. Merritt racing after it, he has Foley with him. Sam Merritt shoots, and a big save by Trevor Babin. On the 2-on-0, Sam Merritt took the shot himself. Counterattack from Motor City. Suffredini pulled up and now gives to Koch. Rockers set up. White over to Bartlett. Tried to feed the front. Instead, Schumacher cut it off. Sent in, and it goes behind the net. And Merritt turns around and clears it all the way down, halfway through the mini penalty. Colton works up to Makima. Tried to find Bartlett, instead turned it over. Here's Chartrand. Chartrand thought about the shot. Instead, he'll just waste time in the corner. 3 Rockers around him. And good work by Danny Chartrand just to take some time off the clock. Bartlett moving in. Parsons got stick on puck, and it looked like he got stick on puck. Referee disagreed. A tripping penalty coming up to Brian Parsons. They get Babbitt to the bench, so 6-on-4 right now. Back door, and hit the post. That was Gaudette with the wide open chance. Koch from the slot, gloved by Rodrigue. And now we'll get the penalty. And Brian Parsons shaking his head. He doesn't like this call, but he'll head to the box. He'll join Gino Mini for 16 seconds as the Prowlers will have a 5-on-3 to kill off. But first, we will take a timeout. 3:43 to go in the first period of a tied hockey game. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Five-on-3 power play for the Rockers for 16 seconds back here at Big Boy Arena. Here's Suffredini walking down the wall. Suffredini back to the point. White over to Koch, takes the shot, saved by Rodrigue. Mini steps out of the box, so it's back to a 5-on-4. Conway had his pocket picked. The puck worked back out to center. White took a slash from Mini. Mini in alone, looking for his second, but Babin got a piece of that shot. Gino Mini now fighting Conway for the puck. Conway able to get into the zone. Prowlers have 3 defensemen out on the ice. I'm sure they'll change that as Rodrigue holds on with 1:23 to go on the Parsons minor. So the Prowlers kill off 1 penalty. Keep this one a tied hockey game, at least for now. 1:23 to go on the other one. Bartlett walks the line, softly on net. Schumacher blocked it away. Prowlers have numbers going the other way. Schumacher with Foley tried to give it to him. That one was blocked. And now Colton, the man who broke up that rush, comes out from behind the cage. Couple of good opportunities for the Prowlers shorthanded. 2 or 3 at least on this between the Mini penalty and now the Parsons penalty. Still a 1-all game as Bartlett sends down deep. Makima back door. They score. Everett Thompson, easy tap in. And it's a 2-1 Rockers lead. So just like that, 2 power play goals for the Rockers in this first period, and they take the lead. There's still 42 seconds to go on Parsons' penalty, but now we will be back to 5-on-5 hockey. Prowlers looking up now at the Rockers. As Zolkanic and Ulmer get set to draw. Mini over to Johnson. So for the first time at Big Boy Arena, the Rockers have a lead as Johnson apparently did not get the red line, and they'll call that an icing. If you remember the last time these 2 teams were here, and now they're going to say maybe it was a mistake, and the faceoff will come back out to center. Last time these 2 teams played here was the only other time the Rockers have played at Big Boy Arena, as they were on the road last weekend. And that whole game was either a Prowlers lead or a tied score. Minnie up to Jay, deflects it in deep. Clouston off the glass, back to Prowler ice. Johnson on it. Alex Johnson off the boards. Gets as far as Jay. Giuliano tries to send it back in. Both teams going back and forth. Ulmer trying to get some possession in the offensive zone. Back behind the Rockers' net. Contrado works up to Zilkanic. Now off the glass and out. Tommy Cardinal in by himself. Stops up, waits for help, and rims it down deep. Johnson trying to force it up the wall. Over to Minnie. Koch took it away from Ulmer and kept it deep. Minnie, double team behind the net, now triple team as Scott Koch comes in to take the puck. Work back up to the point. Lambden puts it down deep again. Contrado with it. Near side boards. And it gets through Lambden at left point. Comes all the way back into Rocker territory as we hit the final minute of the first period. Heading up to Graham, one-touched it to Federley. Prowlers couldn't get in too deep. And now Schumacher up to Graham, who deflects it in. Here's Koch. Drops it off. Clouston sends it all the way back down. Icing is called against Motor City. 33.4 on the clock. Prowlers with a chance on the offensive zone face-off. And it's Graham with his line. Federley and Tecumseh out there with him. But the Rockers win it. Comes over as Schumacher able to keep it in under pressure. White behind the net. Gives to Clouston. Tecumseh took it away. Federley in the middle. Saved by Babin. Flipped high and out. Schumacher gloved it down. And Henning touches it. And that's going to be a hand pass against the Prowlers. Or maybe a tripping penalty as well. They're sending Scott Koch to the box, so the Prowlers are going to have their first chance on the power play. 11.7 seconds up here on the big board. And Scott Koch heading to the box in his Motor City Rockers debut. 40 penalty minutes in 56 games last year with Macon in the SPHL. Comes back to Schumacher. Here's Federley. Shoots. And Babin made the save. Final seconds tick off as Lambden holds it up on the boards. And we'll head to intermission. Rockers holding a 2-1 lead thanks to 2 power play goals. Gino Minnie, the only marker for the Prowlers in that first period. And so it's a 2-1 lead for Motor City as we head into period number 2. We'll gear up for the new season at the Prowlers official team store located on the west end of McMorran Arena. The store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, including the new lace-up hoodie styles, hats, koozies, and more. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. First intermission has hit here in Fraser. Prowlers down by 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. back here at Big Boy Arena. Prowlers trailing the Motor City Rockers 2-1 during the first intermission through one period of play. Before we get to our first period wrap-up, let's take a look around the FPHL. All 10 teams in action tonight. We start in upstate New York. The Watertown Wolves and Elmira Mammoth are through one period. Wolves with a 1-0 lead behind a goal from Samuel Rabchek. Over down in Delaware, the Thunder and Carolina Thunderbirds are scoreless as they get set to begin the second period. And one period down in Danbury, and it's all hat tricks. A 4-0 lead on the Binghamton Black Bears. Danbury outshot Binghamton 20-4 in that first period. What a start for the hat tricks. Finally, down in Mississippi, early going first period, Seawolves and River Dragons still scoreless. And here, it's a 2-1 Motor City Rockers lead. Well, Gino Mini got the scoring started on a nice 3-on-2 rush after taking a drop pass from Dalton J. That put the Prowlers up 1-0, 9:19 into the frame, but then Port Huron got into some penalty trouble and the Rockers made them pay. Ross Bartlett with the power play goal to tie things up at 13:01, and then with under 2.5 to play in the first period, Everett Thompson with a backdoor tap-in, also a power play goal. That gave Motor City its first lead at Big Boy Arena. This is just the second game at Big Boy Arena for the Rockers. The only other game here was the season opener for the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. Prowlers had a 2-0 lead in that one. Rockers tied things up at 2, and the Prowlers ended up winning 3-2. So this is the first lead at Big Boy Arena for the Motor City Rockers. Prowlers will start this second period with the man advantage. Declan Conway took a tripping minor with about 12 seconds to go in that first period. So Prowlers will send out the power play, looking to tie things up. First period shots favor the Rockers, 17-14, as referees head back onto the ice, just a couple minutes away from the middle frame. And both teams head out, so the Prowlers down after one, looking to tie things up and get their second victory at Big Boy Arena. Motor City still looking for its first at home. Danik Rodrigue in the goal to our right, Trevor Babin in the goal to our left. That was the goaltending matchup 2 of the 3 games 2 weekends ago when the Prowlers and Rockers faced off. Each of them won one of those games. And each of them winning on the road. Rodrigue taking the 3-2 win here. Babin a 2-1 win at McMorran Place. Prowlers had a number of shorthanded opportunities in that first period. A few turnovers from some of the Rockers, notably Ian White, the former NHL defenseman, 38-year-old. Looks like the Foley unit out here for the Prowlers. Foley, Merritt, Ulmer, Federley, and Schumacher to begin the power play here in the second period. Declan Conway begins in the box as Makima, Lambden, Suffredini, and White out to defend the PK for the Rockers. Both teams set at center. And now we will be just about underway set to go for second period action. Prowlers and Rockers. Prowlers back in those gold alternate uniforms, wearing them for the first time on the road. Motor City in their road whites here at home. Face-off down, we're underway. Federley elects to go back into his own end. Schumacher up to Foley, he deflects it in. White turns it back down. Only as far as center, Schumacher cut it off. And now Ulmer. Try the skate-in method. He stops up, gets it back to Federley. Federley back to Ulmer under pressure. Schumacher tried the shot, blocked by Makima. Federley sets up at the top. Over to Ulmer. Wrist shot, saved by Babin. Puck was loose and cleared to the corner. Federley recovers at the point. Quick shot off of Suffredini's stick to the corner. Ulmer to Federley again. Federley walking the line, looking forward. Now gives to Ulmer. Tried Merritt in the slot. Couldn't find him. And now Lambden slowing things down. And he'll get it deep. Rockers get a change. Prowler's trying to stretch the ice, but Colton steps in front of that pass. Knocked down by Merritt. He'll enter the zone, take the shot. That hit a stick and rose towards the glass. Federley has Johnson, gives it to him. Johnson back to Federley. Wrist shot, high off the glass. Rimmed back around far side. Ulmer just kept it in. Gives to Decumbus off the bench. Now Merritt shoots, blocked. Second chance opportunity. Ulmer gives over to Johnson. Back to Ulmer. Now cross down low. And Babin holds on. Foley right in his grill. He's taken down by a Rocker defenseman. And looks like everyone okay. Prowlers making some changes. So are the Rockers. So the new next power play unit coming out for Port Huron. Graham, Decumbus, Jay, Scantleberry, and Alex Johnson, the lone defenseman. Babin getting a couple of seconds to fix himself up, get set to go. Lambden, Clouston, Koch, and Contrado, the foursome for Motor City. Graham and Lambden set to draw. 14 seconds left on the Prowlers power play as Matt Graham wins it back. Scantleberry steps off the wall, gives over to Jay, loads, fires, in and out of Babin's glove, and backhanded all the way down. That will take care of the penalty. Johnson behind his own net. We're back to 5-on-5. Parsons rims it around in Graham's direction. Comes all the way back to Contrado. Koch trying to work in. Tried to get around Johnson. Has to move behind the net. He's got Koch head up, looking for a play. Puck rolls behind Prowler's net. Conway and Parsons taken in. Koch off the turnover, saved by Rodrigue on the sharp angle try. Off the glass, and past Contrado. Heads down on Babin, and he'll elect to cover up with Dalton Jay bearing down. 17:26 to go in the second period. Offensive zone faceoff coming for Port Huron. So the Prowlers power play, which came in at 20.8%, fifth in the FPHL, unsuccessful in its first opportunity. Split between the first and second period. All but 12 seconds coming here in the second frame of that power play. Rockers getting one last change in before this puck drop. Foley and Lambden in for it. Foley got some help. Hansel just kept it in for a moment. Now Lambden able to move up ice. His pass was to nobody except for Evan Foley. He turns back the other way. Foley, quick shot, missed it wide. Foley tried to whip it in front. Couldn't do it. Now Foley behind the net. tried again to center. Came up, flipped up in the air. Rockers settle it down, and they'll flip it high towards Rodrigue. He catches it and holds on with 16:50 to go in the second period. First defensive zone face-off of the second period for the Port Huron Prowlers. Giuliano to draw with Evan Foley. Puck tied up at the dot. Pushed just back by the Rockers, and they control. Cycled in, White on the near side. Comes back to the point, Cardinal. Tried to put it through a number of bodies it got through. And Rodrigue holds on with 16:35 on the clock in the second period. New line coming out for the Prowlers as Graham gets set to draw with Giuliano. One back, Schumacher behind his own net. Jay tosses it out to center, was looking for DeCumbus cutting. That was Federley, excuse me, looking for DeCumbus. Now comes back in. Bartlett tried to whip it in front. DeCumbus, the only one there. He sent it in Federley's direction. Federley hassling Suffredini. Graham kept it in. Prowlers have numbers. Federley with DeCumbus tried to feed it over to him, but no way that was getting to Vinny DeCumbus. Rockers trying to move up the other way, but it's cut off. DeCumbus back in. Back to Graham. Tried to find Federley cutting, but instead, Rockers turn the other way. Here's Bartlett. Ross Bartlett tried to feed the slot. Nobody home. Rockers keep the puck in. Makima turns it down low. Pass whipped through the slot. Colton had his shot blocked. A couple of Prowlers went up for it with the glove. Mitty tried to bounce it towards Graham. Schumacher just rips it up, but Rotundi keeps it in, deflected on net. That one didn't get all the way through, and Austin Federley flips back to center. Rotundi trying to get the Rockers back in quickly. Instead, Federley able to deflect it into Motor City ice. Colton behind his own net. Jay didn't see that puck coming, or else he might have had a nice turnover there. Instead, here comes Motor City. Everett Thompson, with a goal in the game so far, tried to dangle through. Instead, they score on the rebound. Rockers take a 3-1 lead with 14:51 to go in the second period. It's Roman Gaudet finding the loose change in front of Rodrigue. Beats his outstretched glove. That's the second goal of the year for Roman Gaudet. 2-goal lead for Motor City. Johnson tried to send it up. Here's Scantleberry. Sent back to the point to Johnson. Alex Johnson tried to feed it in front. Couldn't do it. Prowlers facing a multi-goal deficit for the first time this season, as the Rockers looking for more. That one almost centered. Koch was hanging out in the slot. Now Ulmer trying to go off the boards and out. Colton back deep in his own ice. His pass knocked down. Now Minnie to Ulmer. Minnie just sends it in deep. Babin out to stop it. And flipped high into Prowler ice. And icing is called, as that puck goes all the way down past the goal line. 6:09 into the second period. Prowlers with some work to do, trailing by 2. Rockers up on shots 20-17, but it's 3-3 in the game, in the period. 20-17 in the game, and we will take a timeout 13:51 to go in the second period. Prowlers trail by 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Tossing candy into the stands here at Big Boy Arena. Celebrating Halloween are the Motor City Rockers. Some fans in costume. I see an Austin Powers costume up there. As that puck wrapped out of play. Prowlers with a little bit of work to do find themselves trailing by 2. First time this season the Prowlers have faced a multi-goal deficit. As Foley set to draw in the offensive zone. Rockers getting some changes out. He'll face Giuliano, and Giuliano beats him on the faceoff. Klauston knocked down. Uses hand to Contrado legally. Battle in the near side corner. Comes in on net, and Babin with the save. Like Hansel took that shot. 13:31 to go in period 2. Faces off this time to Babin's right. Rockers making some more changes. Thompson, Makima, and Gaudet coming out onto the ice. Roman Gaudet, the most recent goal scorer. Contrado rims it around the boards. Here's Gaudet. Gives it away to Merritt. Sam Merritt versus back. Hansel gets it deep. Klauston, D to D to Contrado behind the net. Worked up the near side boards. It's back in the corner. Foley took it away. Only back to the point. Parsons winds, fires, save, rebound. Babbitt got it again, and then they score! Evan Foley from his stomach beats Trevor Babbitt on the third opportunity, and the Prowlers are back within 1. It's 3-2. Stop 1, stop 2, but you can't stop 3. As the Prowlers get back within 1. Hard work from Evan Foley, who's led one of the Prowlers' best lines, probably the Prowlers' best line all season long, with Joe Devaney and Larry Vartiainen on the wings, but neither of them available for tonight's game, so he has some new wingers. Still able to pot that puck, and for Evan Foley, as Rodrigue covers up that long dump in, for Evan Foley, it's his 3rd of the season. Brian Parsons finding himself on the score sheet for the first time this year for something other than a penalty. He picks up an assist. Graham and Landon to draw. Puck sent as far as Suffredini at the line. That one deflected, but didn't get all the way through. Comes back to Suffredini again. One shot wide. Comes out into the slot. Federley trying to turn it up the other way. Here comes Austin Federley. takes the shot, saved by Babin, and he'll hold on with 12:23 to go in period 2 of a one-score game. Good momentum boost for the Prowlers to get that goal so quickly after the Rockers made it a 2-goal game. A minute and 50 between Gaudette's goal and Foley's. Federley tried the one-timer from the slot. Didn't get everything on it. And it flipped over top of the net. Schumacher tried to get it on net. DeCumbus tried to push it back on. Taken away. Henning's shot blocked. He bats it into the corner. DeCumbus puts it on net. Hit the side of the cage. And Federley keeps the Prowlers on the attack. DeCumbus in front. That one missed Graham. Comes over to Schumacher. All the way across. His pass deflected away. They're trying to find a streaking Bartlett. DeCumbus cut it off. Now Colton tried an easier pass. Turned it over. And finally, Rockers able to squirt it out to center. Henning trying to put it back in as the Prowlers make changes. Good pressure from Port Huron since that goal. As Schumacher cuts it off at his own line, sends Jay on his way. Near side to Scantlebury. Tucker Scantlebury fought off by Babin. That one flipped high and out of play behind Trevor Babin. Federley, Graham, and DeCumbus causing some havoc in the Rockers' end, getting some scoring opportunities, but still a 1-goal deficit for Port Huron with 11:15 to go in the second period. And then that last shot from Scantlebury, no one knew where it was after it hit Babin. Luckily for the Rockers, out of play. Here comes Motor City. Dumped in on Rodrigue. He'll cover up for a defensive zone draw for his squad. Although I'm sure Motor City just happy to put the puck into Prowler ice and get an offensive zone draw after that last shift where they seemed overwhelmed in the defensive end. Prowler's going to try to put them back there, but they're 200 feet away. Scantlebury gets to Ulmer. He crosses the center ice. Jay tried to return it, and Ulmer had his stick lifted. Minnie settles it down at the line, gets it deep into the corner. Makima trying to wrap it up near side, stuck in the corner. Johnson put it on net, knocked down. Now Everett Thompson the other way, has Makima with him, gets it to him. Makima, backhander, skied it over top of the net. And Makima seemed to beat Alex Johnson on the back check. Here's Koch trying to come out with it, poked off his stick. Gaudette to Koch, backhander, stopped by Rodrigue tight. Now it's the Rockers' turn to fly. As Minnie trying to kick it out. Foley couldn't push it forward. Clouston rips one. That goes wide. Von Clouston, I'm being told, playing in his 100th career FPHL game. Minnie bodies off Lambden, but the puck stays with Motor City. Comes to White at the point. White with the shot. That hit the dasher behind the net. Comes up to Suffredini. And a cross-checking penalty coming. And we'll see who it's against. It must be against Motor City because Suffredini had the puck at the point. And it is indeed Cade Lambden heading to the penalty box. So a tough penalty for the Rockers to take with all the momentum and a penalty in the offensive zone. But it will be a Prowler power play when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. It's a Prowler power play back here at Big Boy Arena. 9:36 to go in the second period. Prowlers trailing Motor City 3-2. They have Gino Mini lining up on this power play with the Foley unit. Merritt, Schumacher, and Federley out there as well. Maybe they'll try Gino Mini in a similar role you used to see Zdeno Chara in with the Boston Bruins in front of the net, but instead Mini split out wide. He takes the puck from Federley. Federley, wrist shot, saved by Babin. Foley on the rebound, gets it back to Mini. Mini to Schumacher. Now Federley thought about the shot, gave back to Schumacher. In front, Merritt didn't get anything on that one. Taken down, and a high sticking call coming to Derek Makima. And a minute 32 still on this Prowlers power play. They'll head to a 5-on-3. Merritt a bit slow to get up in the near side corner. Now he heads back to the Prowlers bench. Makima heads to the Rockers penalty box, and a huge opportunity for this Port Huron power play. A 5-on-3 for a minute 32. Graham J., DeCumbis, Skettleberry, and Johnson, the power play unit for Port Hurons. Everett Thompson out there, along with Colton and Gaudette for the Rockers. So the two newest Prowlers out there on this crucial power play. Vinny DeCumbis and Tucker Scantleberry both played very, very well last weekend against Carolina. That power play starts with the puck getting sent all the way down by Gaudette. Scantleberry really showed up on the score sheet, but DeCumbis didn't show up on the score sheet, but he played a very sound game for the Prowlers on those loose pucks. As here's Johnson. Back to Jay. Down low, Scantleberry. Walks out, gives back to Jay. Dalton Jay. Over to Scantleberry. Wrist shot, high, comes off the glass. Jay works it back to the point. Quickly down to DeCumbis, back to Scantleberry. They play catch. Scantleberry once more. Over to Jay, one-timer, kick save by Babin. And it's sent all the way back down. 43 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Rodrigue keeps it moving. Here's Scantleberry into the zone. Tucker Scantleberry all the way around the net. Here's Federley. Over to Schumacher. One-time blast block. The second try, save, and then Babin gets the rebound with the glove and keeps this one a one-score game. Huge save from Trevor Babin, probably the best one of this game. 25 seconds left on the 5-on-3 for the Prowlers. Ulmer back on this unit. And Schumacher over to Federley. Federley gets it back from Ulmer. Now here's Schumacher again. Takes it and waffle boarded by Babin. Federley over to Schumacher. Down low, in front. And Merritt couldn't get the shot from the bumper slot to go. Merritt again takes the shot. Babin got a piece of that one. And it's sent all the way back down to Prowler ice. Apologies for the quick loss of camera. But we're all set back here. It was actually a 4-minute double minor to Makima on the high stick against Merritt. So the Prowlers still with 2 minutes of power play time. Federley takes the shot himself and a pad save by Babin. Federley again has that sneaky wrist shot. Tried to work it back to Schumacher. That went off a skate and back to center. Ulmer finding Schumacher, takes it, save, rebound. Babin makes the save on Ulmer. Trevor Babin getting applause from the crowd here at Big Boy Arena. He's made some big stops on this Prowlers power play to keep it a one-score game. Koch trying to take it away. Here's Scott Koch turning. And Jay takes it off his stick. But the Prowlers are guilty of a hooking penalty, so that will eliminate the final minute 9 of their power play. Austin Federley, the one heading to the box. We'll get some 4-on-4 hockey with 6:16 to go in the second period. Trevor Babin, the man of the hour right now, especially in this second period, as the Prowlers have put 17 shots on him in this period alone, 31 so far in the game. And he has kept his team ahead, 3-2 Rockers. Clausen retreats back to his own ice. Contrado trying to start the breakout. Gives to Bartlett. He dances through center. Poked off his stick by Minnie. Ross Bartlett first on it, trying to find Clausen. Then the rebound, they score. Scott Koch, his first as a Rocker, restores the 2-goal lead for Motor City. So the Rockers back up 2. It's Scott Koch's first as a Motor City Rocker. After 15 goals last year in 56 games with Macon in the SPHL. Signed this week, and he's got himself on the board. Has his team up 2. Parsons over to Foley, back to Parsons. Brian Parsons steps over the blue line, gets it deep. Conway trying to come out, hassled by Foley. Declan Conway able to get it deep into Prowler ice. Henning in a battle for it, knocked down, comes back to the point. Shot from Rotondi, stopped by Rodrigue. Comes up to Foley. He'll start the rush with Scantleberry. Tucker Scantleberry trying to get past Rotondi, did, but didn't have the puck with him. As Lambden over to Colton. It's a 5-on-4 man advantage for Motor City for the next 39 seconds. Everett Thompson on the near side boards. Trying to work in. Bartlett tried to center. Instead, the Prowlers able to clear all the way back down. Final 15 seconds on Federley's penalty coming off as Bartlett almost turned it over at center. Gaudette had his back, and he gets it deep. Ulmer trying to move back up the other way in the final seconds of the penalty. Dakota Ulmer waits for help, drops to Parsons. Taken off his stick by Bartlett, but Parsons steals it back. Merritt in the corner, in front, and Ulmer almost came in and took that one. Bartlett out to center. Schumacher takes it, but Conway takes it from him. Federley trying to push in deep. Now Merritt on the forecheck. Rockers trying to work back out. Parsons over to Schumacher. Schumacher off the glass into the zone. Icing waved off. As Koch in his own end. Gives back to Colton. 3.5 minutes to play in period number 2. Prowlers facing a 4-2 deficit. Here comes Suffredini. He pushes Johnson in. No call here as White puts it back deeper. Johnson back up and he'll head out. Alex Johnson tried to find Jay. That pass hit a skate to Cumbus. Back into Motor City territory. Dropped for Jay. Went through right through the crease. Rockers trying to come back. Cardinal all by himself. Into the corner. He'll cycle it over this side to Zulkinich. Suffredini sneaking down. ripped it high and wide, and now DeCumbus trying to push up, trying to find Jay. He was streaking all alone, but Dalton Jay couldn't complete the pass. Babin way out of his net to keep it away from him. Zolkanic into his own shot over top of the net, popped back out in front. Gaudette trying to push it to a teammate. Instead heading, finds Foley in alone. Evan Foley saved by Babin. Gaudette trying to move out. Prowlers throwing everything they have at Trevor Babin, and he's been up to the challenge so far. Ulmer put in front, deflected away. Sent back out to neutral ice into Prowlers territory. And now Ulmer into zone, takes the shot off a stick and wide. Scantleberry trying to work out. Puck squirts into the slot. And now the Rockers off the boards. Here's Conway trying to get in. That one found glass. And now Schumacher behind the net. Henning took a spill in front. Meanwhile, here's Makima collecting the loose puck. Gives to Thompson. Shot off of Rodrigue to the near side corner. Comes back to the line. Makima keeps it deep. Klauston in front. Rodrigue knocked down. Puck in the crease. How did that one not go? Rodrigue back to his feet. Makima across. They tried one more pass. That one deflected away. 40 seconds left on the clock. And now Ulmer, tired, trying to get it out just to the line. Rockers dominating this shift right now. Prowlers out there for a long time. Koch, high shot. Rodrigue held the post. Schumacher trying to chop it out. Ulmer trying to steal it away. And now here's Dakota Ulmer with 12 seconds on the clock. And now Scantleberry moving up, final 10. Tries to cut it to the middle. Lost the handle, took a hit. And it's dumped back out to center. And the second period ends with the Rockers holding a 4-2 lead over the Port Huron Prowlers. Prowlers threw 18 shots on Trevor Babin, and he stopped all but one in that second period. He's a major reason why his team heads into the break with the lead after 40 minutes of play. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Motor City Rockers tomorrow, October 29th, with puck drop at McMorran Place, scheduled for 7:05 p.m. We will take a shot at breast cancer and raise money to fight the disease with a 50-50 raffle and a post-game jersey auction. That jersey auction will be in person only, so you must have tickets to the game to get a shot at winning a jersey off the back of a Prowler tomorrow night. Every single jersey the Prowlers wear tomorrow will be auctioned off. There's also a free poster schedule giveaway for the first 500 fans in attendance. And if you bring a non-perishable donation for the food drive, the Prowlers will give you $2 off of your ticket. So much going on tomorrow at McMorran Place. You won't want to miss it. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. It's a 2-goal deficit for the Port Huron Prowlers after 40 minutes of play here in Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Prowlers are going to need a comeback here if they're going to extend their point streak against the Motor City Rockers. They got points in back-to-back games last weekend. 2-game point streak right now for Port Huron. Down by 2 heading into the third. But before we get to that, let's take you around the FPHL. 4 other games in action tonight. Up in upstate New York. Time winding down in the second period. Final few minutes of the middle frame as the Watertown Wolves lead Elmira 2-0. The Hat Tricks and Black Bears just finished up the second period. Danbury with a 5-1 lead. That second period much closer than the first period, which was a 4-0 Hat Tricks lead through 1. Danbury outshot Binghamton 20-4 in that first period. 16-14 was the shots in favor of the Hat Tricks in the second period. Down in Delaware, the Thunder and Thunderbirds are getting set to start the third, knotted up at 1 goal apiece. The goals coming for Dennis Gaffarov for Delaware and Gus Ford for Carolina. And finally, down in Mississippi, they're about midway through the second period, and the Mississippi Seawolves and Columbus River Dragons are scoreless in the Seawolves' first home opener. And here in Motor City, Prowlers with a 4-2 deficit to make up in the final 20 minutes of regulation, and it hasn't been for lack of trying, as the Prowlers have thrown 32 shots on Trevor Babin, 18 in the second period. They outshot Motor City 18-8 in that second period. Trevor Babin has made a number of 10-bell saves, especially on the Prowlers' 5-on-3 chances. Few power plays. Prowlers unable to break through on the man advantage. But before all that, Roman Gaudet got the second period scoring started, giving Motor City a 3-1 lead just over 5 minutes into that frame. But a minute 50 later, Evan Foley with a great goal, couple second and third chance opportunities. He finally banged it past Babin, and he brought the Prowlers within 1. That was a 3-2 game. Then the Prowlers got a number of power play opportunities, including a 5-on-3. Babin making a ton of great saves. And then down the other end in 4-on-4, Scott Koch made it a 2-goal advantage again for Motor City. 4-2 is where we stand as we get set for the third period coming up in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Welcome back to Port Huron Prowlers hockey here at Big Boy Arena in Fraser, Michigan. Prowlers at Big Boy Arena for the second time this season. They won on opening night here 3-2, but trail 4-2 as we head into the third period. Will Wiggleman here with you as the Prowlers facing a deficit heading into the third period that they will look to make up in the final 20 minutes of play to avoid dropping their first road game of the season. 1-0 on the road, the aforementioned season opener here. Rockers 0-1 here at home. Again, that aforementioned season opener. As Ulmer and Koch will get set to start things back up. 20 minutes up on the board. And we are all set to go underway here in the third period. Minnie had to reach for that pass. He starts behind his own net. But Koch, the only one in the corner to take that rim, as the Rockers trying to push it on net. Rodrigue bats it to the left wing side, and Scantlebury trying to push it out, kept in by White. Wrist shot swallowed up by Rodrigue, and he'll hold on. Just 27 seconds into the third period. Both teams changing up the forwards, and the Prowlers will change up the D as well. Schumacher-Henning pairing out there with the Foley line. He draws against Makima. Derek Makima in the corner. Over to Everett Thompson. Sent in, and Rodrigue able to steer that away. Gaudet to Suffredini. Makima backhand from the slots, steered away by Rodrigue. Prowlers trying to get it out, and Chartrand sends it in deep. Foley trying to be first on the puck in the corner, he is, but he gave it away. Parsons at the point, had it blocked. Rockers trying to come back on the odd man rush, but Hainzel gets it out, and now the Prowlers have numbers in, but Rotundi comes up the bench to even it up. Chartrand lifts it wide, ends up being a cross-corner dump, as Gaudet sends far side to Thompson. Everett Thompson pulls up on net, and Rodrigue holds on. Under a minute and a half into the third period of play. Graham Giuliano sliding in for the face-off. Bartlett took it off the draw, lost the handle, and now Federle moves the other way. Federle in on goal. Babin got on it. Parsons walks in, shoots in and out of Babin's glove. And now Bartlett with speed. Here's Bartlett, finds a man, and a one-up goal. Tommy Cardinal on the backhand, under 2 minutes into the third period, and the Rockers open up a 3-goal lead. So exactly what you didn't need if you were the Port Huron Prowlers, a quick goal from Motor City that makes that mountain just a bit higher to climb. As Koch and Graham get set to draw. A great counterattack from Bartlett and Cardinal. Cardinal was all by himself, and Rodrigue, nothing he could do. It was a great move to the backhand. Prowlers looking for an answer, but instead Koch turns the corner, turns up ice. Koch works in, back door, and they score again. Bang, bang, and the Rockers make it a 4-goal lead. It's 6-2, and Declan Conway gets his first as a Rocker in his first game in Motor City. A 6-2 Rockers lead. So they're looking to even up this Battle of I-94 series. Prowlers have 2 wins, Rockers have 1. And if this score holds, it'll be all evened up. And we're going to get a goalie change. And making his FPHL debut now is Ian Wallace. The West Islip, New York native was in training camp with the Prowlers. Has been away from the team for the past couple of weeks. Returns and now sees his first FPHL action in goal. A Franklin Pierce graduate. There's Johnson on net, saved by Babin. Little pushing and shoving in front of there. Last year, Wallace was a two-time NE10 goaltender of the week for Franklin Pierce. 5-8-2 with a .306 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. Pair of shutouts in there as well. His save percentage was good for second best in the NE10 conference, playing at NCAA Division III. Scantleberry comes around the net, takes the shot, and Babin squeezes that one and holds on. 17-18 to go in period 3. So Danik Rodriguez, the man who has been running this Prowlers goal, ends up getting yanked early in this third period. And we see Ian Wallace now in there. Johnson sends it back to center ice. Flips back in to the Prowlers end. Minnie collects and stands behind his own net. Gino Minnie moving up in Jay's direction. Pass was in his feet. Prowlers are offside. The clearing attempt went off of Jay. Rockers trying to turn back up. Bartlett tried to dance through. Couldn't do it. Now comes back all the way into Rocker territory. Schumacher. D to Heading. Now up to Foley. Heading pokes it away from Bartlett at his own blue line. The Rockers get it in deep. Wallace out to play it. He wraps it around. Scantleberry trying to turn up ice. Ends up back with Schumacher. He goes over to Heading. Back near side. Chartrand gave it away to Lambden. Poke back out to center again. Koch trying to turn the corner. Poked off his stick by Foley. Babin comes out of his net to play it. Gives to Suffredini. White back to Suffredini. Dante Suffredini trying to move up ice. Here he comes. Suffredini into the zone. Tried to center. Said Chartrand took it away. Now Ian White. Sent across. Koch back into the zone. Koch, a shot saved by Wallace, his first in the FPHL. He holds on with 15:22 to go in the third period. So the 6 goals, a season high allowed by the Prowlers, beating the 5 that Carolina scored in 60-plus minutes. That was an overtime loss last week on Saturday. Graham kicked out of the faceoff. Federley in to take it. Between his feet, puck squirts towards the net, and an in-tight chance stopped by Wallace. Rotundi's shot deflected wide. Gaudette lost his stick. Prowler's able to move it out, but only momentarily. So it ends up back at their blue line. Comes over to Hansel. Dumped all the way into the far corner. As Parsons tried to keep it in, play is offsides. So offsides the call. With 14:48 to go in the third period, Prowlers with a 4-goal deficit. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here in Fraser, Prowlers facing a 4-goal deficit with 14:48 to go in the third period. They're trailing by 2 heading into this one, but two quick goals from Ross Bartlett and Scott Koch, or Tommy Cardinal and Declan Conway, excuse me, got the Rockers up by 2 more as Babin makes a save. Puck rolls back to Port Huron ice. Cardinal chases it around. Scantleberry tried to knock it down, couldn't. Johnson takes control. Now off the glass and stayed in, deflected on by Bartlett. And Wallace will hold on as Colton's stick snapped on that shot. Defensive zone draw to Wallace's left. Conway trying to backhand it towards the slot. Comes back out to center. Moved up and Koch gets it deep. Wallace stops it behind his net. Gives over to Johnson in the corner. He's surrounded. Lambden tried to feed the slot. Instead, Contrado takes it. And Wallace had to make the save. Comes out towards Merritt. Instead, Contrado plays it. Now Clouston. D to Contrado. Saucer in Zolkinich's direction. Moved up through the neutral zone. Now Gaudette. Clouston lifts it back to Port Huron ice. Schumacher racing after it with Zolkinich. He just sends it up the boards. Now Makima trying to feed it in front. Zolkinich there. And Wallace pad down. Makes a big save. All Motor City here in this third period. They're up by 4 with 13:17 to go in regulation. Here's Henning. Backhands it around the boards. Prowlers come out. Here's DeCumbus. But it's turned over. Gaudette moved up to Thompson. He gets it deep. Prowlers trying to move out again. Graham puts it back to center. All the way over Thompson. Wrist shot gloved and held by Ian Wallace. 12:45 to go in the third period as the Prowlers make changes ahead of the defensive zone drawn to Wallace's left. Just the defense changing, however. Face off one back. Here's Hainsel. Goes up the boards. Prowlers couldn't gain entry to the zone. Now Federley does. He takes a shot, misses it wide. DeCumbus touches it back. Hainsel a drive. Didn't get it all the way through. DeCumbus takes the shot off a stick and out of play with 12:18 to go. So a little bit of life for the Prowlers as they're finding some offensive zone opportunities, but still a big hill to climb. Down 4 with 12:18 to go. Face-off won by Motor City. Worked up to Lambden. Hainsel broke up that pass. Parsons trying to get it out. Turn and shoot. Conway, that was on the near side boards. That one didn't get all the way through. Ulmer trying to spring a rush with Jay. Drops it back. Jay back in front. And Ulmer couldn't get a stick on it. Flip back out to center. Parsons and Conway check into the boards, and now Ulmer moving up. Ulmer moving behind the net. Giving off to Jay. Jay trying to take it in front. Comes back to Parsons at the point. Wrist shot off of Babin's stick and out of play. With 11:23 to go in the third period, a 6-2 Motor City lead. The Rockers put up 7 in their last game in Watertown. That's the franchise high. That was last Saturday, a wild 7-6 win. Trucktran tries to come in front, and that one gets past Johnson. A wild 7-6 win in Watertown for the Rockers after a 1-0 overtime win for the Wolves just the night before. Just shows how crazy this league can be. Minnie gets it in deep. Johnson kept it in at the point. A couple of players battling for it in the near side corner. Foley from a knee tried to center. Rotundi giving Foley some shoves. And now Rotundi tries the far side. Zolkanic just gets it out. Johnson trying to turn back the other way. Alex Johnson puts it into the zone. Instead it comes back out. Gino Mini will settle things down. Graham back to Mini. Mini behind his own cage. Steps out. Graham blew a tire at center ice. Meanwhile, here's Federley trying to give off to DeCumbus, charging the net, but the pass was in his feet. Home run pass misses everyone, and the Rockers have iced the puck. 9:56 to go in the third period. And we'll take a timeout with the Prowlers trailing by 4 here in Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Goal and 3 assists for former Prowler Ross Bartlett, leading the way for the Rockers as they hold a 4-goal lead over the Port Huron Prowlers. Henning tried to force that one to the net. There is the aforementioned Bartlett, but he turned it over at center. Graham down to Federley. Austin Federley wheeling behind the net. Comes out in front. Babin got that one with the blocker. DeCumbus back to the point. Henning gets it back deep. Federley looking for help, finds Graham as he cycles it down low. Federley now to DeCumbus, tried the shot. It got blocked. Schumacher just kept it in at the line momentarily before it's batted out to center. Now the Rockers trying to come in. Coach steps around a hit from Federley, comes over to Bartlett, tried one more pass. It was in Ian Wallace, And finally, the Prowlers able to move out. DeCumbus all by himself, steps around one man. Here's Vinny DeCumbus, tried to force it to the slot. Henning was charging the net. Here is Dustin Henning with the puck. Worked around to Ulmer. And that puck lifted back out to center. Parsons keeps it away from Bartlett. Bartlett gives to Conway, moving in. Conway to the net, tried to wrap around, but he couldn't complete the play. Now Lambden worked in front. And now Suffredini winds and fires from the line. And Wallace holds on. Some rough stuff going on to his left, and now it moves behind the net. Hansel threw a punch. Adam Hansel getting involved with a rocker. Not sure who that is behind the net with Adam Hansel. But the Czech defenseman furious. Words being exchanged. And it is Cade Lambden involved with Adam Hansel behind the net. He's brought back out by the referees. Lambden still chirping. He's escorted back to his bench. No penalties to come of this. As Lambden returns to the bench. Oh, now Adam Hansel is being told to come to the box, and now they'll bring Cade Lambden as well. Jay and Zolkanich representing their teams at the referee's circle. And we'll play, it's like 4-on-4 with 8:19 to go in the third period. As both teams coming back to the face-off circle. And we'll be 4-on-4. Scantlebury and Makima getting set to draw, but we haven't had the penalties put up on the clock yet. Lambden and Hansel still going at it. Still chirping in the box. Hansel seems disinterested now as Lambden pointing with his stick, still yelling at Adam Hansel. Hansel looking front and center out to the ice. Meanwhile, Henning rips it around off the draw. Race for the puck in the corner. Jay gets there first. Dalton Jay to the net. Backhand saved by Babin. Puck comes back in front, and Babin covers up. Lambden still with words from the Motor City penalty box. Instead, we will get an offensive zone draw for the Prowlers. Koch wins it back cleanly, though, for Motor City. Parsons in Scantlebury's direction. He knocked it down. Scantlebury couldn't get past Colton. Now Parsons. D to D to Henning. Now Scantlebury into the zone. Scantlebury still with the puck, takes the shot. Swallowed up by Babin, and he'll hold on. With a minute 17 to go on the penalties to Lambden and Hansel, 7:35 to go in the third period. Worked back to the point. Minnie takes the D-to-D pass, takes the shot. And Babin once again with the save. Foley and Merritt out there with Minnie and Johnson for the Prowlers. Makima, Gaudet, and Colton out there along with Rotundi, who's the man with the puck now. Tough to see from my vantage point down low on those boards, those near side boards in the zones. As Johnson, this is no McMorrin Place press box for sure. As Makima couldn't find the puck, Johnson picks it up, moves in. Alex Johnson tried to force it towards the net. It's loose there, and Merritt was flying in, couldn't get a stick on it. Minnie puts it on, save, rebound, tipped just wide. Foley knocked down, so is Babin. Johnson fights through a check behind the net, comes out. Minnie had his shot blocked, and now Rotundi kept in by Minnie at the line. Drop for Merritt, tried to feed back to Gino Minnie, pass was behind him, but Minnie has it again. Now Johnson with it. Delayed penalty coming against the Rockers as Merritt dropped back to Federle. Now Merritt in front, puck is loose there. And as Lambden and Hainsel exit the box, there will be a Rocker going back to the penalty box. And the guilty party is Rotundi. Prowlers with a power play opportunity just to get a little bit of momentum heading into tomorrow. 4-goal deficit with 6:15 to go. Of course, stranger things have happened. But they would need something on this power play if they have any hope of getting back in this game. Lambden still with words for Prowlers. This time it's Matt Graham who wins the draw. Jay, cross to Johnson, takes it, the shot, and saved by Babin. Now to Cumbus. Scantlebury and Thompson having some rough stuff in the slot. Meanwhile, comes over to Cumbus. His shot blockered aside by Babin, and Thompson comes straight after Scantlebury. And now Clouston steps in between. And now it's Lambden. Who's the next man up to challenge Tucker Scantlebury from the Rockers? And the referees have seen enough. Thompson and Scantlebury will head to the box. And they'll have some words for each other. Boy, things really heating up physically here in a 4-goal game. Late stages of the third. Officially for Rotundi, it was a cross-checking minor, and that's why the Prowlers are 5-on-4 right now. Looks like matching roughing minors coming for Thompson and Scantlebury. Scantlebury replaced on the power play by Gino Minnie. So this unit stays on. Minnie has it at the point. Over to Johnson. Tried to find Graham sneaking in the back door. Couldn't connect. Contrado worked up the boards. Decumbus takes it out. Puck there in the slot, but Koch able to find it and clear it all the way down. And here's Minnie. To Jay near side. Milton Jay back to Minnie. Kicked up to his stick. Now Jay again. Down low, Foley. Comes back up top, Minnie, but hopped over his stick. And now Gino Minnie has to turn back up, 43 seconds on the man advantage. Ulmer comes together with a Rocker in the corner. Merritt chasing down the loose puck. Pokes it away from Makima. Makima's going to get a penalty. Meanwhile, puck squirts out towards Ulmer. He takes the shot. That one caught up in White's equipment. And the slashing penalty will come to Derek Makima and a 5-on-3 for the Prowlers when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. 5-on-3 for the Prowlers for the next 23 seconds with 4:37 to go in the third period of a 4-goal game. Schumacher starts it off to Federley. Federley walks the line, switches spots with Frank Schumacher. Comes back to Federley, over to Schumacher, the one-time blast, missed wide. Ulmer first on it. Here's Federley again. Over to Schumacher. Walks in, shoots. Knocked down. Puck was loose for a second. Foley knocked on top of Babin by a rocker. Linesman in there to break it up. As Evan Foley was looking for that loose puck. He didn't go down on Babin by himself. It was a rocker. I believe it was Suffredini that knocked him into an outstretched Trevor Babin, who was covering the puck. And now Suffredini being escorted to the box, as is Evan Foley. So now 4 rockers in the penalty box. Only for the next 4 seconds. 2 Prowlers in there now, Scantlebury and Foley. But in 4 seconds, Rotundi will exit the sin bin. Referees just trying to make sure this game doesn't get out of hand, taking anybody that they can. Graham set to line up with Koch. Quickly won back to Schumacher. Schumacher has moved back to 5-on-4, gets to Federley. Now Ulmer tried to feed it in front. Graham batted at it. Babin kept it out. Schumacher over to Federley. Back to Schumacher, thought about the one-timer. But his pass taken away, and Federley has to chase back into his own end. Ulmer moves up ice. Let's go to Ulmer. Had to kick it back to his stick. But the Rockers take back control and send it all the way down. So we approach halfway through the penalty to Derek Makima. Schumacher dumps it deep. Klauston gets there and slams it back to Prowler ice. Wallace holds it up for Federley. Comes to Jay near side. Jay, that's down low to Graham. And another penalty coming against Motor City. Josh Colton going to be guilty of hooking as Scantlebury and Thompson exit their respective penalty boxes. 37 seconds to go on Makima's penalty. And everyone getting a taste of the sin bin tonight. Well, if there's something the Prowlers need to work on right now, it's their power play. I mean, Trevor Babin made some unbelievable stops in the second period, but Prowlers weren't able to take advantage of a lot of power play time then. Here's Johnson. Takes the shot, blocked by Landon, cleared to the sideboards. Now Jay, over to Johnson, one-timer, Landon slides to block it. Worked back over to Jay again, he takes the shot, that one blocked by Klauston. Cade Landon, in two-side scrum in the corner. Final seconds ticking off of Makima's penalty. Jay takes it off the boards, gives over to Johnson, puts it in front. That one squirted past the post. Johnson has to use his hand to knock it down. 5-on-4 now. As that pass goes straight to Makima, he'll clear. Couple of big blocks from Cade Landon. We're sure the Rockers will have him in an ice bath later. Contrado turns it down ice. Wallace stops it behind his own net. Rims up to Ulmer. 40 seconds left on the power play as Federley works up. Gives to Scantlebury. Feeds it across towards Sam Gagnon. Play is halted And the Prowlers have 6 men on the ice, so a too many men on the ice call coming against Port Huron as Sam Gagnon got his first action of the game. And he'll be the man to serve it. 30 seconds left on Colton's penalty as Foley back on the Prowlers bench, along with Suffredini back on the Rockers bench. Minute 43 to go in the third period of a 4-goal game. As we set up to Ian Wallace's left. It's a too many men on the ice call against the Prowlers. That's just the cherry on top as Rotundi takes the shot. Contrado trying to backhander through traffic. Koch recovers in the corner. Contrado over to White. Now back to Contrado. Rimmed around deep. 4-on-4 for the next 10 seconds. That pass in Contrado's feet, then the ensuing pass to Koch was behind him. Schumacher works to Scantlebury. Prowlers now on the PK. As Scantlebury works through center ice, meets 3 Rockers and gets a low shot that Babin easily stops. Contrado moving up in the final minute. Now Conway. Shot it wide, comes all the way back out to center, and Gaudette. D over to Contrado. 40 seconds left on the game clock. Gaudette moving up ice. Tried to get around Schumacher. Schumacher lost his stick, and the puck dribbles under Wallace's glove, and he'll cover up with 28.6 seconds to go in the third period. Rockers that close to their first home win in franchise history, and they'll move into a tie with the Prowlers atop the Continental Division. Both teams will finish the night with 10 points. As Lambden set to draw with Chartrand. One back to Colton. Suffredini down low. Takes it back, D Colton. Back to Suffredini at the top. Guarded by DeCumbus. The one-time blast from Makima, blocked by Parsons. Gaudette with in the final 10 seconds. Makima holding. Thompson looking for a last-minute goal, but time expires. And the Motor City Rockers have their first home win in franchise history. It is a 6-2 victory over the Port Huron Prowlers. And now we are tied up in the I-94 rivalry. 2-2, the Rockers and the Prowlers. And they'll meet for a 5th time tomorrow at McMorran Place. Puck drop there is 7:05 p.m. Ross Bartlett, goal and 3 assists for the Rockers. A big offensive explosion for Motor City, especially in this third period. They got a couple of goals early, took a 2-goal lead, turned it into a 4-goal lead. And they salute the crowd here at Big Boy Arena. A big win for Motor City, and the fans appreciate it. So we got our first taste of Ian Wallace for the Prowlers. He was perfect for Port Huron in that third period. He did not allow a goal after coming into the game, as the Prowlers will head home looking for a victory tomorrow, looking for revenge as they return home. It will be Take a Shot at Breast Cancer Night, so come and donate money to a good cause. There'll be a 50-50 raffle and a post-game live jersey auction. You get the jerseys straight off of the players' backs, a live jersey auction. So make sure you stay after the game for that one. Get your tickets now, phprowlers.com, or call the McMorran box office. Prowlers also offering $2 off of your ticket tomorrow if you bring a non-perishable food good for donation So take advantage of that, and we'll see you tomorrow at McMorran Place. If you're not planning on coming to McMorran Place, be sure to tune in right here on the Prowlers YouTube page. We'll be back here again with a 7:05 puck drop. The stream will go live about 6:45. Pregame starts about 6:50, but for now, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your evening.